Okay, this is the second video looking at the course syllabus. I left off in the last video with Unit 5, and so we're moving on to Unit 6 now. The guided literary analysis, preparing for the Paper 1 exam with poetry. We've got a packet, 4 mastery checks, and a summative assessment, which is, that's supposed to say mock rather than MOSAC. Paper 1 exam, 2 500-word literary analysis essays on 2 different texts in the style of a Paper 1 essay exam. And so Paper 1 is a very different exam than Paper 2, but you know what? Let's get there when we get there, Semester 2, okay? Let's talk about a summary of the major assessments for IBHL Year 2. IB awards a score of 1 through 7 for English HL literature using a marking range, which is based on total scores of the 4 different assessments. Some assessment pieces in the program are weighted more than others, and so that's why I made this pie chart. So the one that you did already is last year you did the internal assessment, okay? So you did that one. It was worth 20%. That was what was known as the oral presentation. You did it at the end of the school year. All right, so that one is done. And what we're going to be working on first semester is the higher level essay. So by the end of the first semester, you will have uploaded that to IB. It'll be done. But look at how much is left. This is all second semester. Now, second semester is when you're going to be the smartest you will have ever been, right? Because of all of this hard work that you'll be doing. But I just want you to see that. And then second semester's assessments are all timed writing exams where you're writing by hand on paper with a pen under exam conditions. So we'll do a lot of practicing that second semester. Okay, the higher level essay, this is what we're going to do this semester. It's externally assessed. So that means that an IB assessor in some other place will read and grade all of these essays. And you get to write about any work that you haven't already tested on, either in 11th grade or 12th grade. We're going to write 2 possible higher level papers with the 2 units we do after Unit 0. And so you'll have 2 possibilities already written that you might want to use. But we will complete that in semester 1 and upload to the IB site at the end of the semester. Written paper exams, these are what is worth so much, right? Paper 1 and Paper 2. Those are also externally assessed. One is the guided literary analysis, which is 2 short essays analyzing texts you will have never seen before. The first time you'll see them will be at the exam. And so we will have a whole unit that helps you figure out how to write those kinds of essays. Paper 2 is the comparative essay on Men We Reaped and Sag Harbor, the 2 texts that we read second semester. And so we'll get you prepared for that second semester. All right, so let's move on to the elements of the course. And a lot of this you heard me say already in the first video of this unit. Summative assessments, mid-unit tests, and essays are worth 80% of your course grade. So these are assessments of learning to show what your learning and your skill levels are at the midway point or at the end of a unit. The mid-unit tests will be taken only after showing mastery of the lessons in the first half of the unit by the mid-unit hard deadline. And so if that hard deadline is missed, you'll get 50% on that mid-unit summative assessment. Summative assessments at the end of the unit will be essays, and you'll only be eligible for those if you show mastery on the mastery checks by the hard deadline. If you show mastery on all mastery checks by the hard deadline of the end of the unit, but you don't get your essay done on time, you do still have 2 weeks to complete the essay with a 10% deduction. But it's only a 10% off, once. So you can still get 90% potentially on a late essay. Revisions will be allowed within 2 weeks after the essay is returned, and you can score as high as you want on those revisions of the essays. If you want to do a retake for the mid-unit summative, those can earn you up to 10% more on that summative assessment. But the essay revisions are different. You can score as high as your paper allows. And they'll resemble the IB assessments and will be graded according to IB rubrics. Formative assessments are the mastery checks in the unit packets. The mastery checks are worth twice as much as the unit packets, and you'll be taking those in class according to the mastery check protocol. Every once in a while, there's an electronic mastery check, and then the protocol is a little bit different, and I'll explain that when it comes. I think we've got one for 0.2 in this unit. All right, unit packets, you'll get to know better as we keep working on those. The COPE community, COPE's Modern Classroom. I spent the whole first video talking about Modern Classroom, so I'll let you read this on your own. But keep in mind that it is an expectation that you're working on English classwork while you're in the classroom. And if you're absent, that you make up at least 40 minutes of work for that absence on your own time. You need your Chromebook, headphones, something to write with, and whatever book we're reading each class. But I do have extra headphones, chargers, and pencils on the front table. I call it a community table, and you're welcome to use it at any time. Each lesson in a unit has prioritized activities, tiered activities, must-dos, really have to be completed in order to take a mastery check. Should-dos are good practice and will enhance your learning, and the aspire to do activities will help you to hone your skills so that you can earn a high grade on the summative assessment. It might be difficult to get higher than a C if you only do must-dos. Okay, deadlines. We've got that objectives calendar that you're supposed to be keeping a watchful eye on with all of your target deadlines, those suggested deadlines. The public pacing tracker is also a place that you'll see that you can use to see what lesson you're on and to see if you are on pace, catching up, or ahead of pace. If you're consistently catching up, then I will meet with you in class. I might call home. I might not be able to get you good feedback on your mastery checks before your summative assessment. So that's a warning sign if you're catching up, and I do, take that very seriously, and I will follow up with you on that because you really want to try to be on pace at all times in this class. All right, I've probably said this 100 times, but why not once more? Because of the mastery-based aspect of the class, you may not complete a summative assessment without first showing mastery on all of the lessons within the unit. 2 mastery check hard deadlines are included for most units, 1 for the middle of the unit and 1 for the end of the unit. If mastery checks are not completed by the mastery check deadlines, you're ineligible for the summative assessment. For this reason, I often tell students that the most important thing in this class is to stay on pace. You have 2 weeks to turn in the summative assessment for credit after a hard deadline if you have shown mastery on all the lessons, but will lose 10%. If you miss the deadlines completely, all hope is not lost because you'll never receive a score less than 50% once a unit is complete in this class. All right, the human element. This might be the most important part of the course syllabus. Let me read through this. I strive to be an anti-racist educator and an ally to the LGBTQ+ community as well as the disabled community. I do not allow the N-word in this classroom or words that describe gender, sexual identity as insults or words that are offensive to the disabled community. We will use the growth mindset in this room. Intelligence is not static, it's changing. You can learn anything, and that's why we are all geniuses. Uphold one another because all people are precious and this life is temporary. Although you have endeavored to succeed in the IB program, those who are not in the IBHL are no less deserving of respect and love than you are. And finally, abide by the International Baccalaureate tenet to honor the stranger. And remember, it's integral assumption that others with different ideas can also be right, which Cooper has adopted as part of its mission statement. Here are the classroom expectations. Use your time efficiently, stay positive. If you have a question, ask it. If you cause a problem, fix it, and be kind to others, especially if they don't deserve it. And I'll leave you with this quote that's going to come up in the next lesson. Art opens even the chilled, darkened heart to high spiritual experience. Through the instrumentality of art, we are sometimes sent vaguely, briefly, insights which logical processes of thought cannot attain. Alexander Solzhenitsyn.